place where you can grow beyond your limitations and make an impact on the world. I am Erica Lynn. I will teach you how to take the restraints off of you, begin to live free, and become unstoppable. Go to ericalynnspeaks.com.
I say Erica Lynn Speaks. Erica Lynn Speaks.
Hello. This is your girl, Erica Lynn. You guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Y'all know we like to play big or go home. If y'all ain't ready to play, then y'all not in the right place today. Okay? Every Friday, I have been bringing some superstars on, some people who have been changing the world and been making a difference in your life. If you have not been getting value out of these podcasts, well, I don't know which podcast you've been watching because I've been right here, so I don't know where you was at. I am just so excited, you guys, because God has opened me up. And by opening me up, he's given me the grace and mercy to be blessed with some wonderful people on this podcast. Y'all know last week, Damaris Johnson, he blessed us with reparations. And like I told y'all, I didn't even know nothing about reparations or what the definition of reparation is. But when he got finished, yeah, y'all can pay me some reparation. I'm off. I could use a little extra money because y'all know the PPP gonna wear out and the EIDL gonna wear out. So I can take some reparations for the rest of my life and pass it on to my grandkids and so forth. So anyway, you guys, I've just been growing and learning a lot. And thank you all for being on my journey of growth and process, because I too am playing big. So I'm not asking you guys to play big if I'm not playing big, right? I'm not asking you guys to do something that I'm not doing as well. So I want you guys to continue to keep growing and doing well. And before we get started, well, we done got started already. I want you to make sure that you share this podcast with everybody down in your timeline. Tell them, hey, we got something big coming on. We got some information that you're going to learn. Somebody that is just going to school you, honey. She done school me in the back office. So I know if she schooled me in 5 minutes, just imagine what she's going to do for you guys. So I want you to share the podcast, tag them wherever you're at on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you guys are. Just share this podcast because we about to play big. So I'm about to do this introduction, y'all. And I'm going to make sure I not jack it up like I did last week. Because, you know, a girl got to do better. I got to do better. So my next guest is the one and only Nicole Roberts Jones. She is uniquely gifted at one thing, drawing out what's best in you and hoping you take your brilliance to the bank. Oh, honey, let me say that again. She draws out what's great inside of you, so that you can take your brilliance to the bank. Who don't want some coins? I want some coins. Nicole worked in the entertainment industry, talent management and casting before shifting her talents to become the founder and CEO of NRJ Enterprises. She now works with entrepreneurs to create multiple streams of income from what they already know in order to build an empire from their expertise. Additionally, Nicole works with corporations to assure their executives and middle managers push their internal edge and step into the true power of their gifts and talents at work. Her clients have included the Steve Harvey World Group, Dell EMC, McDonald's, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Lisa Nichols, and Motivating the Masses, Coach Diversity Institute, the Boss Network, and Working Mother Magazine, just to name a few. Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. I'm ready. Make sure y'all give a thumbs up, a heart, a shout out, a love, and join me. Put your hands together. Let's welcome the one and only Nicole Roberts Jones. Hello.
Girl, you have me excited. Listen, y'all, when she talked about the back office, we almost forgot it was 5 o'clock because we were chit-chatting and chopping it up. So I've been excited since the moment I clicked on here to get started. So thank you for having me, Erica.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I was like, I've heard so much about you even before we were connected. And it's like, Nicole. And I was like, well, who is this Nicole? I got to meet this Nicole. And then when I seen you, I said, she look like she could be my sister a little bit.
Okay.
Look, I know I'm tan today, but still.
Right, girl. Look, and it take a whole lot for me to get tan. My husband is just as yellow as I am. We will both sit outside. I know y'all, this is not what we on, but we'll both sit outside next to each other. He'll be dark and I'll be the same color. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yes, I remember when I went to Puerto Rico, I was so happy to tan. I was like, yes, I'm a little chocolate. But yes, I'm so excited that you're here. I mean, the introduction alone just gives me meat and potatoes of the things that you have done. But I want to hear from out your own mouth. Let's tell the audience a little bit more about you, who you are, and the things that you have done before we get to what you are doing now.
Yeah, well, I always like to start with kind of my journey because I never set out to be an entrepreneur. If you would have said to me, so this year will mark 28 years, I'm like, oh, Lord, how old are you? 28 years that I've been doing this, right? So if you were to ask me 28 years ago, if I were going to be an entrepreneur, I would have said, heck to the no, are you crazy? I'm not trying to start my own business. And all I can say is, but God. So as you read in my bio, I worked in the entertainment industry, and I'm going to tell you, that was a job I've dreamed of since I was a little girl. I worked on all the hot TV shows. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but listen, I went to all the hot parties, red carpet events. I was doing it all. And yet I felt like something was missing. And I didn't understand how I could feel like that, Erica, when this was a job I've always dreamed of. And I loved it. I didn't hate it. I loved it, but I still felt off. So little did I know then that my purpose was calling, that God had another level for me to go to. So here's what I want. And I'm saying this to Erica, but really I'm saying this to all of y'all that are listening. So what I realize now is that I'm still doing casting and talent management. God just had another level for me to go to. So you don't live on one level and stay there, right? There are more levels for the gifts and talents that are in you. And God was expanding my territory. So here I am some 28 years later. And now, yes, I say I'm an entrepreneur. I've been creating multiple streams of income, not just for me, but for my clients for the last 28 years. So that's kind of who I am and how I got to this work.
Wow, that's wonderful. I mean, to be in the game for that long and still, first of all, you are so beautiful. I mean, look, you don't even look like you've been in the game for 28 years.
Look, I'll be 52 this year. Listen, sometimes I'm out with my bonus son who's in his 30s and people are like, man, is that you? And he's looking around. I'm like, they talking about me. And he's like, ugh. I'm like, don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. Right.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I get that a lot. My son, he always tell people that we're best friends because we grew up together. I had him when I was 17 and he's like 6'2". And they always like, is that your husband? No, that's my son. So right. I'm happy that I look youthful, right?
Okay, because definitely back when I was younger and I was 17, 50 did not look like this. Okay, so I get it, but I'm really intentional about one of the biggest things, in addition to doing the work that I'm called to do, because I'm clear my business is my ministry. In addition to doing the work that I know I'm called to do, I'm also making sure that I have the body and the stamina to be able to do it. Yes. So, my husband would tell you it's because I have all these clothes in my closet. It's that too, that I want to fit them. But it's also because I want to have endurance to run the race that God has set before me, that I've got to keep my body together. Right.
Yeah. Yes. And I've been on that race too, but I struggle. I always have to be honest with people about my struggles because I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. And I just want to stay down. I just want to one day just finally stay down and just be down. But if it takes me 2 months to lose the weight, it takes me 2 days to put the weight back on.
Girl. Okay, isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's a whole episode in and of itself. Because let me tell you, when you hit, and I don't know how old you are, Erica, but when you get to menopause, premenopause, your body starts doing stuff that you had no idea it could do. It's like, what do you mean I can't drink? Look, I had a trainer. Now listen, you always want a coach that hires a coach. So I hired a new trainer because my old trainer told me I couldn't drink. Girl, bye. I'm gonna drink a glass of wine. So you need to tell me what I need to not eat so I can drink my wine. Let's be clear.
And when I was watching one of the interviews that you did, you were talking about having coaches. So we're going to go there. You were talking about having coaches. You tell me how many coaches you got, and I'll tell you how many I got.
Right now, I have at least 3 right now. Yeah.
I got 5.
Okay, go ahead, 5. All right. And you never want to hire a coach, y'all, that doesn't have a coach. And let me tell you why. Because when you've arrived, that means that we would have been to your funeral. That means that your work is done, right? And so I'm always trying to grow me because I don't want to meet God face to face, and I don't want him to say, girl, I'm disappointed. You didn't do what I put you down there to do. Yeah. So I'm always trying to grow me. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And like you said, if you hire a coach that does not have a coach, then what does that say about your coach? That
Yeah.
they feel that they're above or better than everybody else, or that they have all of the answers? No, because you're going to always continue learning. You're going to
Yeah.
always continue growing. And the more information I learn, like I tell my clients, last year I spent like $30,000 like learning and software and systems. So if I
Mm-hmm.
spend $30,000, guess how much? You ain't even got to pay that much to learn what I
Right.
learned, because I'm going to teach
Right.
you what I learned, and you ain't even paying
Right.
nowhere near what I paid to learn that information.
And can I tell you, I have to tell this story. Now, listen, it took me 17 years to learn that. And Erica, you and I were talking about this. And so I'm going to be real with y'all that I've been doing this for 28 years. Okay. So I started in 1993. And some 17 years in, by 2010, my business looked successful. So back then, I had a for-profit and a nonprofit. So in my nonprofit, which is kind of what I cut my teeth on in this work, I was working with African American teenage girls. Really, what I would say is helping put them on a path to purpose. But I called it college prep, but it was the same thing, right? So really helping them carve out what they wanted to be and helping them get to it. And that program was in 10 churches throughout the country. So, and we were growing by leaps and bounds. It was faith-based, if you ever figured that out. In my for-profit, I was coaching women just like us, really to start and grow your purpose-focused businesses. And so in that, I had 100% coaching client roster. I couldn't take another client. So in 2010, my first book came out. That's my fourth book. My first book came out in 2010. And I wrote that book because I thought I could give the principles to women, because I couldn't take them as clients. And then the proceeds for the book can go to my nonprofit. But when that book came out, I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. So I want you guys to get this. My business was an exact place I dreamed of in 1993. Well, God dropped in my spirit. It was everything that I knew when I left entertainment I was meant to do. I was traveling around the world. I was speaking in women's country, not world yet. I was speaking in women's empowerment events. I was speaking at church women's conferences. I was doing it all. But I want you to get this. I was only generating $13,000 in my business. 13,000. Hello. So I looked successful on paper, but I pretty much had a big community service because I wasn't getting paid. So yes, I had a daytime job. So it was at that point that I literally, you guys, I realized I had taken myself as far as I could take myself. I kept thinking, because I have a master's degree, because at the time, my daytime job, I was an adjunct professor. I should know how to do this, right? I should know how to make this happen, right? So I wasn't reaching out for help because I should know, but I didn't. And so that's the point that I hired my first coach. It's a whole long story to tell you how I met her. It was all God, because I prayed. I was done. I was like, God, if this is my purpose, you have to show me something.
Yes.
So the path that he took me on led me to that coach. Now, listen, that coach cost me $30,000.
Yeah.
That's what made me think about it, because you just said the 30,000. And I told you I was making 13,000. So could I afford it? Mm-mm. But I couldn't afford not to do it. And I'm gonna tell you, when God gives you a purpose, He rumbles something in your belly. He's never checking your bank account. He's checking your faith.
Yes.
And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. By the way, that's Hebrews 11:1. So I couldn't afford it. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. So I remember pulling out my credit card, shaking like this, y'all, like praying that the card was going to go through. First of all, hello, right? Because I was at 30,000. I was like, can I make a partial payment? And so literally in my first coaching session, my coach showed me. She said, Nicole, didn't you tell me you're an adjunct professor, that you teach program development? I'm like, yeah. You teach at Boston University. You taught at USC for 5 years, by the way. I'm from LA, but I live in Boston. And then she said, and did you tell me before you moved to Boston that you had a consulting practice? And what you did was you went into businesses. You work with heads of state. You've worked with small business owners. You've worked with celebrities, and you've helped them develop programs. Yeah. She said, this next thing that didn't just change my business, it changed my life. She said, Nicole, you don't have no programs in your own business. Duh. So can I tell y'all the reason why I wasn't making no money, Erica, is because I was coaching one-on-one. And if you have a daytime job, how many people can you coach? Not many, because you got to work.
Two a day.
Yeah. I can only do one a day. Because then I had my bonus kids were little. I used to come home and cook. I was just married. So I was trying to, stay married. The ink wasn't dry yet on my marriage certificate. So I was trying to stay married. So literally I, for 17 years, struggled because I wouldn't reach out for help. And it was that first coach. And let me tell you, I've invested in myself ever since.
Yes. Yes. So let me
one other thing. Let me just say this. Sorry, I didn't finish this. So listen, that first coach, within 6 months, I went from 13,000 to over 200,000 within 6 months, just simply by being clear on who I already was.
Yes.
That I was overlooking and discounting. So yeah.
Yeah. Now that's fantastic though, because so many people have talents and gifts that's inside of them. And every week on the podcast, they hear me talk about your purpose, taking one step beyond you. But you're able to break it down just a little bit more what I mean by one step beyond you. The gifts and talents that God has placed inside of you. Taking them one step beyond you means if you're ready to start a program, or if you're ready to open a school, if you're ready to start a business, whatever that is, take that next step. Don't allow fear, that I can't, I'm not good enough, am I worthy? I'm not like somebody else. I can't do it like Nicole. I can't do it like her. Don't let any of that stop you. But continue to grow and walk in faith. Have faith that the seeds that God placed inside of you, that what you got to do, you got to nurture them, right? You got to nurture them. And a lot of the nurturing was done by the information that you obtained in the past, by going to school, by getting your degrees. If you don't have a degrees, by just learning the things that you have learned, right? That's nurturing them. And then watching them grow. Watching them grow means starting that business, starting that magazine, getting on stage speaking, and doing all the other things that God has placed you to do. So before I ask you my next question, Nicole, I want to pull up what Marva said so we can address Marva. I don't want to get down too far down in the comments. So Marva says, good afternoon. I would love to start a literacy program for 3rd to 5th graders. Would I need a coach to do so? I'm loving this conversation. Thank you, Marva. I'm going to let Nicole take it, and then I'll follow up after Nicole.
So I'm going to say yes, because there's so many factors that you have to think about. Number one, when you say you want to start a literacy program, why? And to be honest with you, who's your client? It's not the kids. Is it the school? Is it their parents? So then why would the parents pay you? You got to dig under that. So there's so many levels of things you got to dig through if you want it to be profitable. Now, most people will tell you to make it a nonprofit. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a nonprofit for 20 years. I don't have a nonprofit anymore. So I'm a little jaded, but I'm going to be honest. Now, mind you, my expertise is nonprofit management. Technically, when I got that first check for a for-profit, I was like, nonprofit who? Right? So I'm saying that because you will affect more change on a for-profit level, because in a nonprofit world, there's red tape. Now, somebody's going to be mad at me for saying this, but there's so much red tape you have to go. Say you do it through the schools. You got to go through all this red tape. And I used to be a school change consultant, so I'm speaking from experience. So some of the programs I developed were in LA Unified School District. All the hoops I had to go through. It's ridiculous. It waters down the program to the point where had I gone straight to the parent, it's a whole nother level, right? So it just depends on how you want to do it, who is the ideal client, and what atmosphere you're trying to do it. And all those things, a coach will be able to help you assess that. Because if you start it the wrong way, I always say it like this. If you build a house and your foundation is weak, depending on where you live, if it's an earthquake, if it's a hurricane, if it's raining really hard, your house will fall. Same thing with your business. If your business has a poor foundation, then your business will fail. It might do well for the first couple months, but we're not talking about, I'm not a one night stand kind of girl. I'm a long-term relationship kind of girl. I'm not a hit it or quit it kind of girl. So, we want your business to work for a long term. And so I would say having the right strategy in place is important. And so a coach definitely is important to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so what did she say? She says, I work for DPS as a literacy teacher. I love the work and I do well with the children.
Right. So then here's what might happen, depending. So if you want to do it from a nonprofit standpoint, instead of you trying to raise money, because I'm going to tell y'all, raising money is a full-time job by itself. However, if you partner with a Bank of America, whatever area you're in, if the bank pays for you, because maybe the bank has a literacy program, then it's easier for you to be able to give that service. So it all depends on how you want to do it. And you don't have to be a nonprofit to partner with the bank, by the way. Yes, right. But if a bank has some kind of marketing initiative and they want to get to kids, then you could be the catalyst, because the bank doesn't know how to get to kids, but there you are.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, so. Absolutely. And then in this time where we at, this is the greatest time out of any time ever for you to get funds from the government to get your business off the ground.
Yes, yes.
The SBA has funding available for new businesses.
Well, can I say this? The only thing with that SBA funding is they're going to ask you for some things that unless you've already got your business kind of started, you can't even answer. Like they want to know how much money you've already generated. So you at least have to be in business at least for a year. This is the thing that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Erica, but listen, I was looking at these loans because everybody's telling me about them. I didn't apply for one because I realized, I'm applying for it and I really don't need it. So I need to not apply for it. But, but I needed PPP because I was like, hey, I'm going to take that money. So listen. The reason I'm saying that is because so many people tell you that a loan is going to help you when you start your business, depending on the kind of business you're starting, especially if you're starting a service-based, intellectual property-based business, meaning you're a coach, a consultant, you teach classes, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, some way where you use your brilliance to move someone's life or business forward. That's so intangible that a bank is not going to give you money for that. So you got to be your own lender. Or I used to call my daytime job my investor because that paycheck, you started helping me build my business. That's when I stopped getting my nails done. So these are my nails. This is when I started wearing my hair natural. I was like, okay, perm got to go. I started, shifting how I spend my money so I could invest in my business more. So sorry to interrupt you, but those of you that are just starting out, SBA gonna look at you like, girl, bye, because you don't have anything yet.
But what it does teach them is the business plan writing, because they do have access to courses. So that's where I was getting to that. There is no, that's all right. Hey, it's okay. And so, but there is free courses that you can take outside of your coach, because as a coach, we're going to walk you through the process and we're going to give you the meat and potatoes, because we're going to address your business hands on, right? At the SBS, they might address it broadly. But we're able to address you directly with your business. And so even though you have a coach, like I said, I have 5 and she have 3, you always still want to have other resources beyond your coach that you're working with, because they might provide something that Nicole and I can't provide for you. And so now you're able to have information here, information here, and as much information as you have, then it will help you in the process of the growth of your business.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to touch on that. And so Michelle says, what kind of coach should she look for? Should it be a coach along the lines of your business, meaning my business, Michelle, or Nicole's business? Because one thing that Nicole and I was discussing backstage is we were talking about my business a little bit. I will focus on inner healing, helping people grow. And I was telling her, but people don't want to sign up for a program that say, I'm going to help you heal. And Nicole, talked to me about telling them the results that they'll get. See, one of the things that I learned in the process of growing my business is this. I guess I help with inner healing, but I also help clients start their business, and I help clients grow their business. I help them with the softwares and the systems.
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you? This is what I hear you do, right? And look, so you guys are seeing her. Listen, because here's the thing. I want you guys to know, when you're operating in your brilliance, you are in a blind spot because you are on autopilot. So you can't see what you do because you don't do it to you.
Yes.
So that's why when you first start your business and someone asks you what you do and you can't articulate it, right? So that's where Erica is right now, because she's brilliant, don't get me wrong, but she's trying to explain what she does. So here's the thing, Erica, you said it when we were on the thing before. So your brilliance is back in systems. You're also inner healing. Do you know how many people need to be healed from their systemic because they get overwhelmed in systems? Come on, girl. Come on, guy. It all relates. It all relates because people get overwhelmed from systems, and you relieve them from the overwhelm and teach them how to do it with grace and ease. Yeah. That's really what it is. So listen, when I first started, I used to have as a business coach, and we're going to answer your question. Don't worry, Michelle. I used to have as a business coach, and then people started asking me, should they be a LLC or S Corp, which I should have had no business doing. And here I was Googling S Corp and LLC while I'm on the phone. I'm like, why am I doing this? Right? You need to call an accountant or a lawyer. So I'm clear what I am is a Bankroll Your Brilliance expert. I help you learn how to make revenue from your brilliance, but I can't help you set up your business, right? So the more clear you are, the better the people are that come to you. So to answer your question, Michelle, first, what is it that you need specifically? Really think about it. And then you might write 10 things down, get a piece of paper out and write those 10 things down. And then think about, what do you need first? So hire that coach first.
Here's from Michelle.
Culinary. So you can go one of two ways. Then here's a whole list of questions, and this is we're talking to Michelle, but talking to all of y'all. So for Michelle, when you say culinary, are you gonna what kind of things are you gonna do in your business? Do you want to teach people how to cook, or do you want to have a restaurant? Two totally different things, right? So it's really getting clear on one of those two things, and then who has done that can coach you. So you always want someone that's 10 steps ahead of you. So like I had a client that is a chef, And one of the things I'm really big on is how can we take your intellectual property and make more revenue? See, what most billionaires don't tell you is they have multiple streams of revenue. So I've had a couple of chefs actually, and so she still does cooking. I can't help you cooking. You got that. I'm not a chef. Okay, can't help you with that. I can help you eat. Right, part of my problem in COVID. But anyway, so I said to her, let's look at other ways we can package your brilliance to help people. And what kept coming to her is people kept asking her to do parties. But when you only do parties and you have to be present, that still caps off how much money we can make. What if we put a party in a box? Right? So you got to start thinking about how do you think outside of the box to take your brilliance. So depending on the angle, Michelle, I would say that's the coach you want to hire, whether it's building an intellectual property based business, whether it's building a restaurant, whether it's, doing cooking classes, whatever that is, you got to find a coach that can help you in that arena. I hope I'm answering your question.
Wow. She said, right. She said, right. I love it. And we got it. And then Marva, she had said, I do have a business plan. That's great, Marva, because you can, there's angel funding, different things like that, but those things require you to have a business plan. So there is a lot of resources that you can use with your business plan. For a person who does not have a business plan, even though these might be a small organization, that is one requirement that a lot of companies have. They want to see your business plan. So kudos to you, Marva, for having your business plan.
Those of you that don't watch Shark Tank, watch it, because Shark Tank comes on ABC on Friday nights. You will hear they ask you about your business plan, then they're going to ask you how much money have you generated, right? So you've got to know that you can't say, well, I think I'm going to generate. Then they're not funding you because you think you're going to generate. People want to invest in things that are already viable. So you have to show them that you already have a viable business. So a business plan is great. Now you got to move it forward and show people that you can activate the plan. Then people will invest in it.
Absolutely. So we have Michelle. She said, thank you. Now we want to get to Allegra, and then I'm going to go on with my questions with you. Allegra said, great.
Allegra said, listen, I'm going to tell you guys a big misnomer about platforms. People are going to kill me tonight, but I'm going to tell y'all all the inside scoop, especially because y'all are here live asking questions. So I don't believe in Thinkific, all those platforms. All of those, because they make you pay like $19.99 a month and $20 a month to host your content, and you still need a CRM. So somebody need to get a pen because I'm about to go in and teach y'all some stuff, right? You don't know what a CRM is. It's a customer relationship management system. So when you host a program on Thinkific or any of those programs that host they don't have a CRM where they keep the context for you. So you still got to pay for a CRM. And so I don't believe in any of those hosting platforms. I believe you should host your content yourself, because why am I going to pay somebody else when I can pay me? Hello, right? And so part of them is a marketing engine. But if you do your marketing the right way, you don't need to pay that $20 a month. Then here's the other thing I always wonder. At the end of, say you want to start working with them, they have your content. So do you have it? Do they own it? What do they do with it?
Thinkific. See, I don't use Thinkific. I use the one thing that I can say, shout out to my coach, Pam Perry, and I love her to death. The one thing that they have always taught me is to own your own material. Own your own material, even from your podcast. And I was like, what does that look like? That looks like this. My podcast used to be hosted through Podbean. I paid $29 something a month for Podbean. So I do my podcast, put it in Podbean, then Podbean would send it to Facebook, YouTube, all these different places, right? Now, I don't have Podbean anymore. But guess what that content is that I had? Podbean still has it. So when you own your own material, i.e. my podcast is on my website, Nicole's podcast is on her website. They say, where's your podcast? EricaLynnSpeaks.com/podcast. Nicole /podcast. So we always own our content. We don't never got to call Podbean and say, can you please give me my stuff back? We got it. We control our fate. So that is very important information that you want to keep in mind when you're setting up your systems, your software, your business, and your program. Always think about, are you owning your own content? Because they might offer you $9.99. Ooh, that $9.99 sound good. But guess what? They own your content. So
that's another thing I'll tell you, listen, and it just said a $9.99, whatever merchant service you use, because you still got to use that, whether it's your content or theirs, also charges you 8% or 5%. So you're paying $9.99 plus 8%. right?
Yeah.
When if you host it yourself, you still will have to pay the 8% because you got to use some kind of merchant service to process your payments, PayPal, Stripe, whatever. But now it's just that and not the other piece to it.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Correct. Absolutely. That's wonderful. So let's see what Allegra says. Great info. I'm creating a set of courses. Do you have a suggestion of which platform to use to bring it online?
So I'll tell you. So the one, so you want to get a CRM that has an autoresponder. Okay. So there are quite a few out there, and I don't know which one Erica uses. Everybody uses different ones. You have to find the one that works for you. So a CRM again is a customer relationship management system. So it's the same system that you send your emails out. You connect with your clients. You connect with people that are interested in being your clients. When you give out free gifts, there should be one system. So the system that I use is Entreport. My favorite, because you can do member sites, which is where you house your program and everything on Entreport. I love it. Now, there are people that have other programs they love, but listen, I've tried Infusionsoft, which is the other top one, and I am not a techie. Erica probably could do it with her eyes closed. I am in overwhelm. So Entreport, I could do myself. And I have a team though, but Entreport, I can do myself. So, and everything anytime I start anything in my business, I always want to do it myself. Is what I recommend to my clients, because when you're trying to ask someone else to do it, they're going to ask you, what do you need? You can't say, I don't know, just do it. Yeah. That's how people take advantage of you. So I would look into CRMs that have autoresponders, right? And what I mean by autoresponders, when someone pays, like somebody could buy one of my programs right now and I'm not there. They could buy it, they'll start it, they could be going through it, and I'm here with y'all. So that's what you want in your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want it all to be automated. The whole goal is this: to make money while you sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, when Pam and them first set me up, and so now I'm flowing because I'm adding on more things. Mm-hmm. When I wake up in the morning to have emails saying, you get paid, cha-ching. Yep. Cha-ching. That's the sound. I like that sound that Cash App give you.
And here's the thing too, you guys, and I want you to get this, because somebody's going to hear Erica say this, and then you're going to build an online program today, and it's not going to work. And I was on a Clubhouse maybe about a month ago, and a woman said to me, and this is big, y'all. I'm about to drop a nugget, so get ready. So a woman said to me, I built this program because I saw everybody else was building a program, so I did one too, and they were making money. How come I'm not making money? Yes. And I said to her, because you're focused on selling and not serving.
Yes.
And I want you to get this. So just because you build an online program doesn't mean it's going to generate revenue. You've got to be clear on what I call your fierce, which fierce is my word for purpose, on fire. And there's one lane God created you to dwell in. When you stand in the full power of that. So if you're not clear on that, don't build something because you see somebody else is successful. Build the thing that is the thing that God created you to do and be. Then you'll be serving people that need you, and then that will generate revenue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's wonderful. Look, I wish I had a replay, but at the what is it? The speaking the poems. Repeat.
Right. Okay.
But that is correct what she said. And so that's why as coaches, we're very clear before we tell you to use a system. Yeah. That means that we have a consultation with you. Yeah. Talk about what your business is. Find out what's your niche, what you want to do. As she said, like, what type of chef do you want to be? Do you want to be the chef, or do you want to teach people? Do you want to run a restaurant? We get very clear with you and help, and we ask you these questions that you may not have the answers to at first.
Okay, you might want to do all three, and we could do all three too, right?
But in the process, like I was telling her, I learned that I'm good at more than one thing.
Yep.
But when you clear on what that one thing is,
baby, let me tell you something. Sorry, I keep interrupting. Look, she's saying such good nuggets. I'm like, baby, I got to tell you, it's like, listen, and I'm about to show my age. I'm gonna say it two different ways. I'm gonna say it from my age. There's a difference between Donna Ross and the Supremes, okay? Or there's a difference between Beyonce and Destiny's Child. You always want to be Diana Ross or Beyonce, meaning that one thing that stands out be above everything else. You need to own that. Once people are in your camp, they'll come to you for other things. But if you say too many things, a confused mind doesn't buy.
Yeah. I remember I was on a podcast one night. And first of all, I don't even do late podcasts because I get up at 4 a.m. and his podcast was 11 o'clock at night. So I probably was sideways for Cocoa Puffs. But it was a great conversation. I was flowing, dropping my information. Then at the end, he says, tell everybody what you're doing. I talked about my book, about my program, about this. And after it was over, we stayed on his system till like 2 a.m. after the podcast ended. And he was like, and he really got me together. He said, you don't never give people too many things because they're confused. Confused minds don't buy. But if that one thing that you give them draws them to you, as Nicole says, then you can offer them the other things that you have later on or during the process. So whatever that one thing is, and that one thing normally is something free or for $1 or $5, whatever it is, that one thing is something that's normally free so that people can do what, Nicole? They can begin to know you. They can start liking you.
Look, I call it starting a date. Right? No, like trust is what she's gonna say, but I call it dating. And I said this to Erica before we were busting up together. I said, have my husband come to our first date with my ring. I'd have been calling my girlfriend like, please come get me. This man is crazy. But people do that. They think I'm gonna meet you today. If I was on here trying to offer y'all $1,000 program, you're gonna work with me for $1,000. You'd be like, Erica, who is this woman on your podcast overselling me? And again, it's difference between selling and serving. There's also a difference between a good first date and a bad first date. So you want to let people get to know you before you start to make that offer. And when you become my client, I call it putting a ring on it. We married now, right? Because then I'm committed to your greatness. Right. I'm committed to your business growth. I'm committed like I'm your business's auntie. Because listen, when I get to coach with you, but that's how I am when I'm in a relationship. I'm all in. Right. And it's the same thing. You want people to date you and experience you. And that's great. But after a while, I'm like, how many times I had one client, I said, listen, I don't see you anymore. You've been watching me for 5 years. I love you. Either you work with me or go find somebody else to watch. Because I keep seeing your purpose in my face and I can't take it no more.
Right.
And she did become a client, but I was real. I was like, I can't take it. I keep seeing your purpose flash before my eyes, girl, and I can't do it anymore.
And 5 years, that's excessive. I think sometimes a year is common, right? Because I remember I watched Pam for a year. Before I actually officially hired her. I reached out to her once before I hired her, realized she was above out of my pockets. I said, I did like you. I said, I can't afford her. But guess what? When you want something, then you're going to do what you need to do to get it. You're going to figure it out. And so when I came back, I was like, bam, bam, bam. And when I finished working with Pam, everybody was like, dang, we so proud of you. I was like, thank you. Y'all can take my purpose. No.
That's real though. That's real. That's real.
Yes. So in doing my research and reading about you, I love your personality, first of all. And and we're talking about here, bankroll to your brilliance, because you mentioned it. And we want to talk to them a little bit more about what are you saying? What does it mean? What does bankroll to your brilliance actually mean?
So I want to actually take it back a step if I can, because so many people don't realize they have brilliance. And so I call it fierce. So I'm going to tell you guys about 15 years ago, and I'm transparent, right? So about 15 years ago, I was watching Beyonce, and I usually say I was hating on her a little bit, but I was having a full-on jealous because let me tell you, baby, if I could sing, because I could dance. If I could sing, baby, she'd ever run for her money. So I was watching her, kind of hating on her, right? And as I'm watching her, what drops in my spirit is you have fierce too. And I'm like, I know this ain't you, Lord, talking to me while I'm watching Beyonce, right? And so right after I had that little moment with God, what I began to realize is this. When Beyonce created Sasha Fierce, God was calling her to a new level of her brilliance. I want y'all to get this, right? Sorry, I got phones ringing. People realize it's Friday night. So God was calling Beyonce to her another level of her brilliance. So listen, up until that point, she had other women on stage with her, okay? Up until that point, there was at least always 2 women in Destiny's Child on stage. And now she had an opportunity to go solo. And it was scary. And the same thing, if you guys were, those of you that were with me at the beginning, when I told you that God was calling me to a new level of my brilliance, that's what happened when I left entertainment, the same exact thing. And so Beyonce had a choice to make. Do I stay in this group? Or do I do the thing that's rumbling in my spirit to take my gift to the next level? So she made up Sasha Fierce to allow her to be unstoppable, to help her give herself the strength and even the permission to go after her next level. And what God began to show me is that exactly what I do. And that's what I do for other women. So number one, you've got to know there is brilliance inside of you, and you've got to stop discounting it. You've got to stand in it unapologetically. You got to be clear. You're not everything to everybody, but you're something to somebody. But the question is, do you know what that is? Right? So that's step. In order to understand what your fierce is, I'm gonna walk you through 4 things real quick, right? Now I'll talk about it in my book, but I'm gonna gift this to y'all, and then I'm gonna give you another gift at the end to help you move it forward. So 4 things, I call this my fierce framework. So number 1, what are you passionate about? What do you love to do that you could do hour upon hour upon hour? So I love to sing. but number two, I'm not proficient in it, right? So you got to be passionate and proficient, because you can't be love it and not be good at it, and you can't be good at it and hate it, because then you won't enjoy your job, right? Like I'm in my office right now, and I know Erica would agree to this. I love what I do so much that sometimes I feel guilty that I get paid to do this, right? So you've got to be good at it and you've got to love it. Now, Michelle Obama talked about this in her book Becoming, where she said that she was a lawyer. She had gone to school. She was great at it, but she hated it, which is why she left law school or left the law practice. Okay. So again, passion, proficiency. Third is, what problem does it solve? Because ultimately, God gave you that passion and proficiency. I call it your DNA, your distinct natural ability. He put that DNA in you for you to be the answer to somebody's problem. So what are you the answer to? Who are you the answer to? And you ain't everybody's answer, but you got to be clear and uncompromising, right? And then third, once you're clear on those three, then it brings profit to you. Because when you stop giving away your intellectual property for free, when you stop giving your cookie away for free, like my mother used to say, why would they buy the cow when they get the milk for free? And some of you guys let people pick your brain. You let people come sit by. Let me call you and run something past you. Yeah, you're giving away your intellectual property for free. When what they're saying to you is they see the value in you, and you need to say, let me tell you how much that it costs for me to run that past me. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
4 steps. So really, in order to bankroll your bridge, you've got to be able to do all 4. Now, for those of you, real quick, I want to give a gift, because some of y'all are going to say, Nicole, that's great, but how do I do that? So actually, this last Thursday, I just started something called the Brilliance School. Is free. You don't mind me giving this gift out, Erica. It's
No.
free 5-week, because these are all the things that people. So if you miss Thursday, you will get the replay. Go to thebrillianceschool.com. It's every Thursday at 1 p.m. EST. Again, thebrillianceschool.com. I'll walk you through everything. And really, I break down this Fierce framework even more. So when you register at thebrillianceschool.com, you'll get the replay from this last Thursday, and I give out homework. So you want to go grab that. Those of you, so Allegra and some of the chef, Michelle, I think it was, grab that, because that will bless you. That'll help you move your brilliance forward.
So this is how you spell it, the Brilliance School?
Brilliance School.
Okay.
The Brilliance School. I know I talk fast. The
That's
Brilliance
all right.
School.
It's funny, and I love the way you speak, right? Because I talk fast as well, and they always tell me, slow down, slow down. But if this is the way that God designed me, and
Let me tell you, every year I try to say I'm gonna talk slower. There you go, the Brilliant School. I'm gonna talk slower. And that New Year's resolution goes out of the window. And then when I talk slower, I feel like I am a robot. So it doesn't work.
Yes.
And it might not sound like robot to you, but it sounds like it to me.
Like my mom, she's probably on here watching too. But my mom, I've never, like, I don't pronounce the ending of my words. That's just how I am. I probably never have. And so my mom always says, Allegra says she's signing up now. My mom always says, pronounce the ending of your words. Well, I come from the streets. I'm who I am. Right. And got some slang in me mixed with corporate, all mixed together. And when I try to concentrate on my word, I would mess up on my speech. So you know what? Y'all figure out what the ending of the words is. I'm going to deliver the message. I'm going to deliver the speech. I'm going to deliver what God put inside of me to give to you. And y'all figure out the ending of the words. So I can't focus on what somebody else wants me to be. I just can only be who I am, who God called me to be. And that is the same with you. Focus on who God called you to be. And through that, you're going to always deliver your best. And so, yeah.
And here's the other thing too. I said this a minute ago. You're not everything to everybody, right? So I remember I was on a Facebook Live and a woman said, "Ooh, you're a lot." I said, "I am probably a lot for you. Nice to meet you, girl. You can go ahead and sign off." And people are like, "Ooh, Nicole, you funny." And some people were offended, and that's okay, because you're not meant to serve everybody, right? And some people love that I talk fast. Some people are like, "Ooh, girl, that's a lot." Okay.
Yeah. So you got them going. Marva says, that is so right, because I taught medical billing for years at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Now, so many people call me for information and trying to start billing companies. I'm going to address this one. Marva, if you don't know, that's what I went to school for. This is what I am proficient in. I could do medical billing and coding in my sleep. I help the doctors make money. I help companies grow. And this is what I do. But then it came to me. If I can help somebody else make money, Why can't I help my own self make money?
Come on.
Why can't I help my company grow? Because in medical billing and coding, you're going after $1 for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, we dealing with millions for Blue Cross. You dealing with millions and billions for Blue Cross. So the blueprint is always the same.
But and here's the other thing too, Erica. Here's the other thing too. When you're great at something, then what you do is take that proficiency and you can then multiply it into other systems. So what that looks like is maybe you, and I know your expertise, Erica's back end. So maybe it's back end for doctors. Maybe it's back end for medical practices. And you can start there. And then if it expands past there, great. But don't overlook, Marva, the fact that people are calling you, girl, you better make that money. Sure, I'll come set up.
I know. Because and let me tell you why I went to school for it. My ultimate goal was to start my own medical billing and coding business out of the house. That was my ultimate goal. But along the way in my journey, I just found out that I was good at other things, right? And so
here's the thing. Look, you can stop saying you're good at other things because it's all related. It's all related.
It is.
So good.
I use them all together. But I'm just saying,
all back in.
I never thought that I was going to be a motivational speaker. But what I learned was this. I always thought that, how do a motivational speaker make so much money, right? Like Eric Thomas and Les Brown. Then I learned that behind all of that, they have course systems and programs and classes that they teach. Like Lisa Nichols, she teach you how to speak. Everybody, even when I'm on Clubhouse, everybody tell me how they signed up for Lisa Nichols programs. They're Lisa Nichols student. But when I first,
guys, because a 45-minute or 60-minute speech is not going to give people transformation. It's just not. There's no way that I can actually transform your life in 45 minutes. Anybody that tells you they can is lying to you. But it's also irresponsible for you. So what I mean by that is I remember actually being at an event and having this really long line of women. This is when I wasn't making no money, by the way. Having this really long line of women. And a woman came up crying. So I was like, well, it must have been good. That was God. And she was like, I'm mad at you because I need coaching and you didn't offer me any way to work with you. So it showed me that day, and I was right in the midst of me getting ready to start working with my coach. I didn't know then that God was just getting me ready to hire this coach. But what I realized is that being a motivational speaker, people cannot implement anything from what you shared in 45 minutes. They just can't. So it's irresponsible for you not to offer them another way to work with you.
Yes. Say it, sister. Say it. That's why when I learned better, I did better.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely. Yes. And so now you've taken all of your expertise and knowledge and you learned how to bankroll it into your brilliance. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And as you said before, it did take you 17 years, right? Before you really start making income. But I'm like you, though. I do look at it as that 17 years was 17 years of learning, growing, being stretched, being comfortable with who you are.
Not for me. None of that. I wasn't learning. I wasn't stretching. I was being hard-headed. Look, I'm really transparent, y'all. So I really believe that God let me stay there for 17 years so that I'd be so passionate, because it shouldn't have taken me 17 months. But because I was being hard-headed and I didn't need any help, I should have figured it out. So no, I wasn't learning nothing. All I was doing was working. Look, you can either put sweat equity or cash equity in your business, okay? Yes. I was putting sweat equity. What do I mean by that? I kept saying, well, I'm going to work an extra hour in the evening. Oh, I'm going to work half a day on Saturday. Then I added, I'm going to work all day Saturday. Then I added, I'm going to work half a day on Sunday. All I was doing is more of the same thing, which if you look up the definition of insanity in the dictionary, it says doing the same thing over and over, especially a different result. So no, I wasn't learning and growing. I was being insane. It wasn't until I hired that coach that she began to show me the strategy I did not know. I don't care that I had a master's degree. I don't care that I had been working with celebrities. I don't care that I was teaching as an adjunct professor at 2 prestigious universities. I still did not know. And so that's what really shifted everything for me, Erica, was hiring that coach and giving the strategy I needed.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So the core takeaway, y'all, is get a coach, because the coach can help you see things that you cannot see yourself. Yes. They can help you see those blind spots, like when you're driving in the car and that truck is about to get over to the right lane and knock you off the road and you blowing your arm, well, you was in this blind spot.
Right.
Guess who else saw? All the other cars around the truck saw you in this blind spot. The truck did not. So the other cars are representations of coaches. So get you some coaches to help see your blind spots, to help you through the things that you can't see yourself, so that when you get out here and launch your business, you be like, dang, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. See, you're paying for somebody else's experiences. You're paying for their expertise. You're paying, you're getting somebody to coach you that is where you want to go. So they're already where you want to go. Right? So now they're showing you, don't, you know how your parents used to tell you, don't make that same mistake with that boy. And you got to be fast and grown. I'm going to date this boy anyway. And something happened. Your mama say, I told you, don't do it. But just think, if you listen to your mama, then you wouldn't be sitting up there. Right?
Can I tell you too? Girl, that's so good. Can I tell you too? It's so funny because we're coming right off of Mother's Day. So the difference is this too, you guys. I really want you to think about this. Some everybody says sweat equity or cash equity. So when I started putting cash investment in my business, here's what I didn't even realize. So I'm investing in me. So when you're paying for a coach, you're investing in yourself. But then when you ask somebody to pay for you, you're asking them to invest too. So why would somebody else invest in something that you haven't invested in?
Yes, absolutely. But because I heard you say you worked a lot. I worked 2 jobs and hustled.
Okay.
And put it into this company.
Yep.
And then when it was brought to me that, oh, you finally, like, I did it for so long, I didn't even know how to step back, right? Somebody literally had to help me peel away the second job. So I realized, dang, I do make enough money to cover all of this. Then I'm like, okay, then I had to peel away the hustle. So I'm like, oh, okay, God. So in this season, God is stretching me to take one step beyond myself. I'm telling you guys, I know what I'm talking about. So just listen to the signs. They're there. Nicole is dropping the signs. She's telling you. Like, I always say, God called me on the phone and give me a message. She's here delivering your message to you. It is time for you to go to higher heights. It is time for you to grow beyond where you are in life, because all of the brilliance that's inside of you, it's time to bankroll it, baby.
And listen, all that brilliance that's inside of you, to grow it, is outside of your comfort zone. Stephen Furtick said on a podcast with somebody I was listening to, he said the greatest enemy of fear isn't faith. Or excuse me, greatest enemy of faith isn't fear. It's familiarity. Because we're staying comfortable, because, you know, it's like being in that bed in the morning, you don't want to get up, but we're staying comfortable, right? And your comfort and your conviction can never coexist, because God is always going to call you outside. Ask Abraham. Look, there's a whole book called the Bible of everybody being uncomfortable, right? Just look at everybody that God talks about. Even Jesus was uncomfortable, right? So you got to know that the greatest way you're going to grow is to be uncomfortable. That's what I had to realize. So for 17 years, I was trying to do it the easy way. For 17 years, I was trying to stay comfortable. When I hired that coach, shaking, and I was literally shaking. I called my husband and said, I need you to trust me by a click, because I knew he'd tell me no. And I was like, I know I need to do this, right? Ooh, that was a whole deal when I got home. Well, that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, I need you to know I did all of that, knees knocking, teeth chattering. And I do it all over again to be here now. All over again.
Yes. You know, Nicole, you have blessed my soul, honey. You bless my soul, my mind, my body, and my spirit. I hope she have blessed you guys too. So what I want you to do is, I want you to tell everybody how they can reach you, and I need you to give them a nugget to walk away with. Nicole taught me this.
Okay, so one, again, the Brilliance School. Those of you that want to learn how to bankroll your brilliance, 5 weeks. That's that. Second, my new favorite thing is Instagram. So follow me on IG. I drop nuggets as much as I can. Plus, you get some good personal inside stuff too. And so, you know, I think the biggest nugget I want to drop on you, and I really want you guys to think about this: when you die and go to heaven and meet God face to face, and I'm assuming all of y'all are Jesus girls, because I am, and if you're not, then that's your business. But when you die and go get to meet Jesus, God, face to face, is he going to say to you, well done, my daughter? See, I want you to think about this. See, God put gifts and talents in you. He invested in you. So what's his return on his investment? What's his return? So is he going to say to you, job well done, daughter, you doubled and tripled my investment? Or he going to say, girl, go back, you ain't done?
Yeah. Wow.
That's what I want to leave you with. And that's what Bankrolling Your Brilliance is all about, is being the highest and best version of who God created you to be.
Wow, that blessed me. that bless me. When I leave here, I want to say, okay, I made a difference in somebody's life. I don't care if I touch one person's life, but I know through this podcast platform, God gave me the blessing to touch many people's lives. So I'm thankful for
Yes.
that. And then I realized that, oh, I can't do it alone because it's selfish to do it alone. You do
Mm,
what you do, but then God provided all these people around you to help you touch many people beyond your reach. And I said, okay, God, well, that's selfish for me to keep doing this podcast alone. Now let me bring on some more heavy hitters so that maybe they can reach the person that I wasn't able to reach. I'm reaching the person you
mm.
called to me, but now you sent somebody else to help me reach somebody else that I wasn't able to reach. So I say to you, thank you, Nicole, for
Thank you,
reaching
girl.
the people that I was not able to reach. And
Mm.
together we're doing it twofold, sister. I love
Yes.
it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I
And
love
thank
it.
you for just saying yes to do this. This is not an easy task to do this, right? And so thank you for your commitment that others might find their light on their path. Thank you for being that light. And thank you for everything you do. And thank you ultimately for having me on your show today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Nicole got a book. Tell them about your book, Nicole.
So find your fears, the 4 steps to really stand in your purpose, your power, and your profits. So it's a even a larger conversation from today. So that in addition to the Brilliant School, listen, it'll get your whole life. Or as my clients like to say, I snatch your edges, but it's in a good way. It's not a bad way. It's a good way. So it really is walking you through all the things you need to do to get paid. Listen, John 10:10 says, I've come that you have life and have it more abundantly. So there's abundance that's your birthright. It's my job to make sure you go after it. And so that's literally what everything I do is all about.
That's fantastic. I'm over here cracking up, right? Because if you ever listen to my podcast, I always say we dropping meat and potatoes, right? So
Mm.
they done put some potatoes. Marvin done put the potatoes in the in the comment section. That's funny. Thank you, Marvin. Right. Next time you got to find some emojis of meat too, Marvin. And so she really enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
Maxine, she thank you, Maxine. We love you. Thank you for the hearts. But Nicole, thank you so much for joining in on the podcast. This was so much fun. You got to come back.
Yeah, girl,
You got to
anytime. Let
come
me
back.
know. Yes,
You
would love
you
it.
got to come back. I'm looking forward to it. Sometimes when I meet people, I say, "Oh, we'll have fun on stage."
Girl. So when it's time, we can finally get back. We can do that too.
Yes, we'll have fun on stage. That would be fantastic. I can't
Yes.
wait. But people have been booking me. I have been speaking out
Yeah.
in public, but I'm waiting for it to, like you said, open
Fully
back up
open up.
more and
Mhm.
I can flow around. Because although I like the virtual, but it's not in your face.
Yeah. I love
Like
human
it
touch.
is. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. You got to have
Mhm.
that touch and that smile. But
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Love you, girl.
And I can't wait to have you back.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. God bless you. And see you next time. Hello, you guys. Oh my God, that was so awesome. I had a blast. I don't know about you guys, but I had such a good time. I hope you all really, really enjoyed Nicole. I mean, that was fantastic. Each week, I told y'all I got something, always something new up my sleeve. And that conversation was fantastic because it was something that many of you all needed to hear. You needed to hear that it's time for you to step out of your comfort zone to bankroll your brilliance. It's time for you to go to greater heights because there's so much information that you have inside of you. Take it outside of you, put it in a platform, a program, a business, whatever it is, but let's grow it. Let's nourish you. Let's take you to your next level. And yes, that is what I do, Michelle. I do coach my clients into developing their business. Like Michelle, Nicole, she hoped you expand your ideas as many of us do, but I do walk you through the step-by-step process of starting your business and growing your business, and so that you can go to the next level. And as we said before, you can never have too many coaches. I got 5 coaches. So just think, hiring me, you're getting the expertise from my 5 coaches that I'm paying the money to, and you only got to pay a fraction of the cost. So that's fantastic. I hope you guys really got a lot out of this podcast. I hope it was a blessing to you. And if you didn't get your healing box, make sure that you get your healing box because they're still on sale. The healing boxes were wonderful for Mother's Day. Let me put the website up there if I still got it. Well, oh, there we go. It's streaming in the bottom. My bad. But anyway, I want you guys to I'm going to take you out with our commercial. I love you guys. I love you all so much. And thank you for the support and joining each week on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. And always remember to take just one step beyond you. God bless you. And I'll see you guys next Friday.
Are you ready to become unstoppable? Be bold, live free, and walk in your fearlessness? Are you ready to be courageous? If you are ready to play big and make your mark in life, if you are ready to break free, it is time for you to realize your full purpose in life by allowing Erica Lynn to help you break free from your boundaries. Break free beyond your limitations. Elevate your power. Play big while moving into your biggest step forward in your life. To find out how, go to ericalynnspeaks.com and sign up for the One Step Beyond You signature program today.
This podcast was brought to you by ericalynnspeaks.com. Sign up for your free consultation today at ericalynnspeaks.com/work with me. And just remember, it only takes just one step beyond
you. I say Erica Lynn Speaks. Erica Lynn Speaks.